Coming to you live tonight from Schmeeckle Reserve, where warblers are pouring in by the hundreds. Are you ready for spring migration? He's right behind me, isn't he? With all the birds traveling here during the spring, bird identification seems a little bit scary, but it doesn't have to be. Hi, my name is Hannah Badgett, and I'm a student naturalist at Schmeeckle Reserve, and I've been a birder for several years. One group of birds that's always fascinated me is the warblers. Come with me and I'll introduce you to my friends just before they arrive. Soon, we'll be able to see these brilliant birds in Schmeeckle Reserve once again. Each spring, warblers provide a temporary, bright decoration to the forests of Schmeeckle, bringing bewilderment and challenges to any observers.
But first, what is a warbler?
Good question. Warblers are a group of small songbirds that have several common characteristics, such as eating insects and singing often. They're known as the beautiful gems of the bird world. This is because they come in all different colors, from orange to bright yellow to blue. There are many different species of warblers in Wisconsin, and they can be found decorating the treetops in Schmeeckle Reserve twice a year. Warblers will use Schmeeckle Reserve as their rest stop on their way north during the spring. If you've ever been on a long road trip, you know the importance of stopping to get snacks and drinks every once in a while. This is what warblers use Schmeeckle Reserve for. They'll rest up, take a break, and refuel by eating a ton of insects and gaining calories that they lost while traveling. Warblers can fly thousands of miles during their migration. But you might be wondering, if all these warblers are flying right over my head, why don't I see them during the day? And that's a good question. The reason that you typically don't see warblers migrating above you is because they migrate during the nighttime. There are a few good reasons why they do this. One is because they want to avoid predators. A lot of the hawks that eat warblers do not fly during the nighttime, and they don't hunt warblers at night.
Any hawks that do migrate typically migrate during the day. This is a great reason for warblers to migrate at night to avoid becoming a mid-migration snack.
Another reason why they migrate mostly at night is because the nighttime temperatures are cooler. Birds have a really high body temperature. It's even higher than ours.
Birds' body temperatures are normally around 40 degrees Celsius. A human's normal body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius.
Just like we wouldn't want to go on a jog during the hottest part of the day, warblers beat the heat by flying at night. This will prevent them from overheating during migration. But just how long is their migration? These tiny birds can fly super long distances. The black-polled warbler has one of the longest migrations out of all the warblers because it nests the farthest up north. They can migrate up to 1,800 miles in a season. If you're ever out walking at night during the first few weeks of May, I encourage you to stop and listen closely. Sometimes you can hear small peeps of warblers that are migrating right over your head. Okay, so warblers migrate and they have high body temperatures. What did you say that they eat? All warblers have small, slender bills that they use to catch insects. They use this tool in different ways. Some warblers can climb around on tree bark and probe the tree bark looking for insects, and some may forage along the ground or in treetops. There are several reasons why warblers pose a great challenge to observers. Not only are there a lot of species and a lot of different colors and patterns to remember when you're identifying warblers, but they move quickly. Warblers typically only sit in the same place for maybe a second or two. Trying to identify a warbler that's moving very quickly can be a little bit discouraging, but don't let that get you down. All it takes is a little bit of patience and you can find your first warbler. The reward of finding a brilliantly colored male warbler is more than worth it. During the spring is your best chance of seeing beautiful colored warblers. This is because males are actually in their breeding plumage. They use their bright colors to attract females. Female and male warblers typically look pretty different. Males are a lot brighter, while the females are more dull so that they can blend in when they sit on their eggs.
Here's a comparison of a magnolia warbler. The male is on the right with the brighter, more brilliant colors, and the female is on the left.
The best time to come look for warblers in Schmeeckle Reserve is the first few weeks of May. Look for them fluttering around in the treetops and foraging for food along the ground. You're probably wondering how big a warbler is. The average warbler from the tip of their bill to the tip of their tail is about 5 inches long, so about the size of this scarlet tanager without his tail. Scarlet tanagers are not actually warblers, but I'm just using him as an example, but they are another cool spring migrant that you might see in Schmeeckle. The average weight of a warbler is about 10 grams, which is only about the same weight as 2 nickels. Why do you think that it would be beneficial for warblers to be so light? Think about how far warblers have to travel during their migration. They sometimes have to fly thousands of miles. Having extra weight could take a lot more energy for them to fly. Well, thanks for the education about warblers. I think I know everything now, and I'm ready to go look for my first warbler. Wait, what? We haven't even learned the best part. Best part? Wait, best part? What's the best part? Don't you want to learn how to identify warblers? Oh, yeah, I guess that is kind of important. Warbler identification may seem a little bit intimidating at first, but each warbler has its own patterns, colors, and unique behaviors that'll help you identify it when you're out in the field. You can always carry a field guide with you or a bird identification app to help you out if you can't figure out what bird it is. They may have unique features, but there's kind of a lot of them. I wish there was some cool way to remember what they all look like a spring fashion show. I wonder what a fashion show for warblers would look like. Good evening. I'm coming to you live from the Schmeeckle Reserve Spring Showcase. This is a yearly event where wildlife gets to show off the latest fashion trends. Tonight, we have the warblers showing off their plumage for the spring. Audience, how are you feeling tonight? I feel that way too. We're about to get started. And look, our first contestant's already down the runway. The common yellowthroat seems to be making a bold statement tonight by wearing a mostly tan outfit with a very thick layer of black eyeliner with white eyebrows. And true to his name, he does have the bright yellow throat. Thank you, common yellowthroat. Very beautiful. Black and white warbler seems to make a different kind of statement. He always is well dressed, wearing his tuxedo with him wherever he goes. His whole outfit is composed of black and white stripes. Thank you, Mr. Black and White Warbler. Next, coming down the runway, we have a Mr. American Redstart. But it almost looks like he forgot to take off his Halloween outfit. He's making a bold statement with a mostly black outfit with some bright orange stripes underneath his wings, on his wings, and then along his tail. Now here comes another spicy little individual down the runway. It seems that he almost copied part of his look from the common yellowthroat. He's got the same thick black eyeliner with a white eyebrow, but he matched it with a really nice black necklace with long streaks down his stomach. Bold move, Magnolia Warbler, but it worked out for him. What do you think, audience? Now here's the special guest that we weren't expecting. It's the black-throated blue warbler. Black-throated blue warbler, why do they call you a black-throated blue warbler? It's because he has a black throat and he's blue. The creativity. And our final contestant of the night, we have the palm warbler, and it looks like he brought a giant branch with him. Bold accessory. The palm warbler wears a red hat on top of his head, which is how you can tell him apart from other warblers that have a lot of yellow on them. Thank you so much for joining us tonight at the Spring Showcase, and we hope to see you again next year.
A spring fashion show? Who am I kidding? That would be silly.
Now that we explored a little bit about warbler identification, let's go for a hike and see if we can find some warblers.
Before you start your birding hike, you might want to bring a couple of things. I always bring a good pair of binoculars, but you don't always need binoculars to go out and see cool birds, so no worries if you don't have any. I always bring a field guide. I bring field guides with me just in case there are birds out there that I don't know how to identify, or you can even put a field guide on your phone. There are several apps that you can use, and I'll link them at the end of this talk. During a bird walk, you want to make sure that you're looking and listening. Listening is one of the most important things to do when you're bird watching, because you might not always see a bird before you hear it. You don't have to know all the calls of birds, but it can help you find out where that bird is in the tree, and then you can get a good look at it. Be sure to look out for other cool things, like mammals, trees, and cool plants. Are you ready to go? Let's get started.
Nice find. We found a yellow-rumped warbler. Yellow-rumped warblers are one of the most abundant types of warblers in Schmeeckle in the springtime and in the summer. You'll find them on the tips of tree branches, fluttering around to find insects. These warblers are named for the bright yellow patch on their rump. It's frequently flashed when they're flying around.
In North America, there are two subspecies of yellow-rumped warbler.
The one that you'll find in Wisconsin is the Audubon's warbler. There's also the myrtle warbler, which will be found more out west by the Rocky Mountains.
The most noticeable difference between these two subspecies is the color of their throats. The Audubon's warbler has a white throat, while the myrtle warbler has a yellow one. Can you tell which one is which from this picture?
The best way to find a yellow-rumped warbler at Schmeeckle is to listen for their distinct call. A fun fact about yellow-rumped warblers is that males will actually forage higher in the tree than females. Nice job finding that yellow-rumped warbler. Let's see what else we can find. Looks like an American redstart to me.
Male American redstarts are mostly black with orange patches on their sides, wings, and tail. Females are mostly grayish-brown with yellow patches on their sides, wings, and tail.
American redstarts are hyperactive warblers. You have the best chance of seeing them in the reserve by looking in oak trees and maple trees. Scientists believe that American redstarts use their tail as a tool to catch insects. They'll flash their tail, seeming to startle up the insects, and then go and catch them. If you're interested in attracting American redstarts to your yard, in the late summer, they like to visit plants with small berries, such as serviceberry and magnolia. American redstarts are always fun to see. Let's continue on the trail and see what else we can find. I can hear a bird, but I don't see one yet.
This bird has a round belly and a long tail. The males have a bright yellow throat and chest with a black mask on their face. The females are brown all over, lack the black mask, but still have the yellow on their chest.
The bird that we just found is called a common yellowthroat. Most of the time, you'll probably hear their song before you see them. Let's listen to that song once more. They sing this song frequently during the summertime, and it's one of the best ways to find common yellowthroats. If you're interested in finding more common yellowthroats, check out the boardwalks. They usually are found near wetlands or marshes. Remember to listen when you're looking for a common yellowthroat. It's the best way to find one. While we're on the boardwalk, let's go see if we can find some more common yellowthroats. Do you see any birds? Oh, there he is.
This warbler's feathers have a black and white striped pattern.
Well, I didn't see any other common yellowthroats, but we did find something else that's pretty cool. Behind me is a black and white warbler. You may notice that it's upside down and looks a little bit weird. They have an extra long hind claw and heavier legs than most warblers. This allows them to creep around on tree bark. They can go in all directions. They move up and down trees as they use their bill to search for insects. Most of the time, black and white warblers are so busy finding insects that they tend not to even notice human observers. You could probably get pretty close to a black and white warbler, but be careful to not disturb them as they need to refuel after their spring migration. Now that we found that awesome warbler, let's continue and see what other cool things that we can find. Wow, nice. Looks like we found a palm warbler.
This bird's plumage features many patches of yellow with some rusty red streaks on the chest and a rusty red cap.
Palm warblers are known as the warblers that don't act like a warbler. They spend most of their time foraging on the ground with groups of sparrows and sometimes even juncos. But there's one way that you can tell them apart from sparrows and juncos. They have a unique behavior of wagging their tail. When they're on the ground, you can see their tail pumping up and down as they forage for insects. Most palm warblers actually breed in the boreal forests of Canada, so they won't typically nest here. Your best chances of seeing them are in the spring and the fall along forest edges. Like the black and white warbler, palm warblers are typically not very shy, so you might be able to get a great look at one if you see one on the ground. Don't forget to look for that characteristic tail wagging.
Whew. Thanks for coming on that hike with me. That was fun. Should we gather my friends and then grab something to eat?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Treetop Cafe. My name is Hannah, and I'll be your server tonight, and we have a couple specials for you. For drinks, we have a glass of warm, slightly used bird bath water. For our special entree tonight, we have the Sunflower Surprise. It is a plate full of live spiders with a sunflower seed garnish, and then a service berry compote from a local tree. Can I get you started with something to eat or drink? Okay, I'm gonna have you all go one at a time, so I'm gonna start with Mr. American Red Star. What would you like to eat tonight? Okay, and would you like to add a side of flying insects to your order today? All right, staff, we got an incoming order for Mr. American Red Star. Let's get that plate going.
American redstarts eat more flying insects than most other warblers. They'll eat wasps, beetles, and other insect larvae.
And Mr. Palm Warbler, what would you like? Would you like beetles or flies on the side for your entree? Beetles? Okay, good choice. All right, next up, we got an order coming in for a palm warbler.
Palm warblers eat insects during the summer, like beetles, flies, and caterpillars, but during the winter, they might eat seeds and berries when they're available.
Mr. Yellow Rumped, what can I get for you? Yeah, we could probably do that as the side, just for an additional cost, if that's okay. Yellow Rumped Warbler orders coming in. They eat pretty much everything. We can just throw whatever on the plate and send it out.
Yellow-rumped warblers will eat insects, seeds, and even different types of fruit. They might also even visit bird feeders to enjoy sunflower seeds, raisins, peanut butter, and suet.
Mr. Black and White, what can I get for you? Yeah, we only buy that from local places. Is that plate for Black and White Warbler ready yet? He's got kind of a complicated order. They're a little bit picky.
During spring migration and the breeding season, most of the black and white warbler's diet includes moth and butterfly larvae.
And finally, Mr. Common Yellow Throat, what can I get for you? Would you like to add a side of grit to that? Sure. Whew. Okay, last order of the night. It is for Mr. Common Yellow Throat. And we need one side of grit, please.
Common yellowthroats usually look for their food on the ground. They'll eat anything from beetles to wasps to pieces of grit. Since birds don't have teeth to grind up their food, they pick up small pebbles and pieces of sand to help them break down whatever they eat.
How is everything tasting? Is there anything else I can get for you? Yeah, excuse me, waitress. There's bird poop in my drink right now. I do not get paid enough for this. Guess I'll just drink it then. Thanks for joining us for that meal. That sunflower surprise was really delicious. Although a lot of these warblers' visits may be short-lived, there's plenty of ways to enjoy them every spring and fall. You might be interested in attracting them to your own backyard. Here are a few things to consider. Water sources are really important to warblers during their migration. Not only do they need to drink water, they use it to bathe and keep their feathers in great condition. Consider putting out a bird bath. Another thing to consider is planting native species of plants. Native species of plants attract insects, and then in turn will attract warblers. Not only will these things attract warblers, but they'll also attract other cool species of migrating birds, such as indigo buntings, Baltimore orioles, and scarlet tanagers. Lucky for us, we don't have to pay any money to go enjoy the beautiful treetop gems of Schmeeckle Reserve. Soon, Come out and see how many warblers you can find. Grab your field guide or your identification app and hit the trails. Thank you so much for watching my talk, and I hope you have a great opportunity to get outside and enjoy all the beauty that nature has to offer. I just want to say thank you so much to all the viewers, and you have just earned your honorary degree at Warbler University in Warbler Identification and Details. Thank you so much to Cornell Lab of Ornithology and Audubon.org for providing amazing educational resources for anyone who wants to learn about birds. Thank you iMovie for allowing me to put ridiculous edits into my video. And thank you to all of my awesome classmates during Schmeeckle Practicum this year. See you out on the trails.